break. Back to the reverse 2 feel. Bass drum on my left hand side. Melodic, talking about Edgar Varese. Well, last segment, I suppose I better start it off with some fireworks. Anyway, one of the things I tried to do there was incorporate some of the influence of Edgar Varese. I'm talking about, I've seemed to have morphed into the work of Edgar Varese, and what happens is he had a little theory or a style about organised sound. And what that meant is one sound went with another. Now we could think of that, well, he's just talking about chords there, but he actually talked about actual sounds, like when I put triggers, right? That's the sound for my tom 1. Here's tom 1, added with that, right? Organised sound could be as simple as changing from a stick to a mallet, you see. To give myself more cut, go to the wood tip. I'm sure Varese would have, like I said with Shostakovich last week, classical composer who I'm sure would have used a metal drummer if he could have. Some of his music was so heavy like that. So when I'm doing this, you have to imagine something like that with the bass drum, say, standing up like that. And guys like Edgar Varese would always be exploring rhythm in the sense that if you think about the time, the 1920s and all that, Stravinsky had written Le Sacre du Printemps, The Rite of Spring, in 1912, 13, 14, but released in 1940. Caused an absolute sensation. It was controversial on its first performance. People were trying to howl it down and whistle, and that just cemented its fame, really. But what happened was it turned the classical world upside down. No longer did you really have Schubert's Trout Quintet that I had to study. Oh, God help me. I had to learn. Wah! Oh, Rite of Spring, stuff like that, little excerpts. I've done a whole show on it, actually, back in 2011, so I might whack that up somewhere. trying to do certain things with this kind of work in the sense that I'm using double bass drum, but I'm not immediately going into metal. You see, it's classical. You see, when I'm doing that, which I did last episode and had a bit of fun with mentioning Lars. I don't have Lars's snare drum from St. Anger yet. This DW drum is just too beautiful to do it to. But, I actually sort of like that, but you can send in the hate mail later. But what happens is composers like Stravinsky and Varese were always pushing rhythm. Now, that was a 4 on the floor, hi-hat 2 and 4. I should be doing this. 3 Little Bops from Bugs Bunny. Gotta be hot, play real cool, that kind of thing. But if I did it like this, oh, what am I doing? Hey. I seem to like that lick. That one. 5 inside a polyrhythm. 7 you see, there's that kind of stuff that Varese started to get into, really pushing stuff. A couple of pieces before I close the show off. I'm going very overtime. But a couple of pieces to check into is, of course, ionisation. He's got another few smaller pieces, like hyperprism and equatorial. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head, but his 2 major pieces are Americas. It's got a Q towards the end, but Americas and Arcana sort of thing. And they are brilliant works, very dense. I dare you to make it all the way through without, having to stop in the middle and go back to your metal and then go back to Varese. But it's pretty dense and very polyrhythmic in all its sections. Please go listen to it. It's a brilliant piece of work, but like I said, woof, it's the cutting edge of rhythm and 20th century classical music. So in closing the show off, I hope that by doing something different with these drum shows, okay, I took a little time off. I've had the show since 1995, pre-internet. God help me. What I try and do is, now that we have YouTube and now that we have clips flying everywhere, in a day where there wasn't that many, nothing on free-to-air TV, but what I'm trying to do is give you a couple of little sideways things. It's a little bit different than just, here's double bass drum work, here's this, here's that, here's a rock beat, here's a rumba. I'm actually working fairly conceptual and talking about things that hopefully you won't find in other places. Because of course Benny Greb's brilliant, and of course Jojo Mayer is fantastic and all that. But I try and bring in other influences. Not only do great drummers influence me, but classical composers influence me deeply as well. I've mentioned some of the composers that people like Frank Zappa loved, and Frank Zappa's gift to the world are people like Terry Bozzio, Vinnie Colaiuta, Chad Wackerman, and before those 3 great drummers was people like Chester Thompson and Ralph Humphrey, and before them Art Tripp III and Jimmy Carl Black, and even Ainsley Dunbar for a little while in there as well, all that sort of stuff. So that was his gift to us drummers, and his gift to me was him being the bridge to all of this weird and wacky world of classical percussion, polyrhythmic playing, and everything that we talk about now with prog metal. Started on its way to 100 years ago with the Rite of Spring by Stravinsky, and then Varese with, just check out Ionisation. I might put it up on my Facebook page just so everyone can sort of make a, I can make a, what am I trying to say, a throw to it sort of thing. Anyway, my name is Chris Quinlan. This is the Drum Show, a little bit different, and I'm very happy for that. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next episode. Take care. Bye-bye. Weird.